Okay, so good morning and have a nice day, everyone. This time, I will be having my recorded lesson on the topic Kartilya of Katipunan, or what we call the teaching of Katipunan. So this time, I will be having my input on the discussion of the teaching of Katipunan. We already have our discussion about the creation of Katipunan. By this time, we have to understand the different teachings of Kartilya, or the teachings of Katipunan. No, I think this is very applicable in our daily life. This is not only for the Katipunan. This is for our everyday life. We can have a good or great lesson from the Kartilya. So allow me to share the screen. Just give me just a few moments to share the screen. So this time, I will be showing or discussing about the Kartilya of the Katipunan. So we have here in our background, no, it's a background of the Katipuneros, and in the front we have, of course, uh, Emilio Jacinto, no, the author of Kartilya ng Katipunan. No? If you try to look at this, no, can you give me your own understanding or insights on the picture, no? At the back, no? What does the picture symbolizes, or what the picture give us the idea, no? So the Kartilya of the Katipunan. So you are given now the time to answer in the comment section. This is our first question. No, in the comment section. There will be three questions to be given in the entire recorded lesson. The first question is you give your insights on the picture that you have that you see, no, in the presentation. So there is a picture there, no. So give me your insights. Your this is what we call this activity is what we call the picture analysis. So you analyze, give me at least 1 to 2 sentences of your analysis of the picture that have been shown here in the slides. So to start, let's have the historical context of the Kartilya ng Katipunan. So the first move towards independence began on July 7, 1892. We have this one when we discussed the Katipunan, no? The creation of Katipunan. So why it is called the first move of the independence? Because, no, as I said, no, when Katipunan was established, it was July 7, 1892. We have already our topic about the Katipunan. How did it started? No? So we will have a short background of the Katipunan, how Andres Bonifacio established, organized the Katipunan. So in this discussion, we'll be able to talk about Jose Rizal and the other group of the reformists, or the what we call the revolutionists, the revolutions, because there are two phases of revolution during this time, the Spanish era. We have discussed several times that there are revolution in the first phase of the colonization until 15th, 16th, 17th century, no? Not until the 18th century that really sparked the declaration of the Philippine independence from the Spaniards, no? But prior to this 1892 Philippine Revolution, or 1800s revolution, uh, the Filipino people in the first phase of the colonization, they have already launched several series and several of revolution, but they were unsuccessful. As I said, that is uh, due to lack of unity. There were regional revolt. There were no national leaders. No, to mention a few, we have in the north we have Diego Silang. It was being continued by his wife, Gabriela Silang. In Visayas, I've quoted already. I give already the information about Francisco Daguhoy. His revolution is the longest revolution in the Philippines against the Spaniards. It lasted almost or more than 100 years. No, And in Mindanao, we have our Muslim brothers who revolted against the Spaniards. So why did I mention that one? No? That is just a short background of the concept of revolution. We all know that there are some atrocities, abuses, and oppressions to the Filipino people inflicted by the Spaniards. But it is on the date of July 7, 1892, that sparked, no, the revolution, the radical revolution headed by Andres Bonifacio. And the latter part, it is the cry of the Pugad Lawin, or what we call the cry of Pugad or Balintawa. But going back, before we proceed to the context of this Kartilya of Katipunan, no, it was the story about the other phase of revolution, the reformists. No, these revolutions were composed of the intellect and fortunate individuals. No, why they were called fortunate during this time? Because they were sent to other countries, especially in Europe, in Spain, Madrid, Barcelona, for them to study. Of course, they are part of this uh, Ilustrados or Principalia, no? Of course, these people, this group of family, have something what we say, may kakayahan, no? Sa kanilang pamumuhay. So, like the group of Graciano Lupisaina and other propagandists, they are called propagandists, and they created the what we call the La Solidaridad. This is a group, the La Solidaridad, are a group of reformists who have fight against the Spaniards in Spain. So they were in Spain during that time. Of course, they fight against the Spaniards through write-ups, through writings, through novels. They also have the newspaper where they will express their sentiments against the Spanish government. No? Of course, they write the novel, the news articles in Spanish in order for the Spaniard or the Spanish government understand their sentiments against the existing government. So meaning to say they are good in they have a good communication. They have good Spanish communication skills because they were able to study in Spain. And of course, this La Solidaridad is also the name of their newspaper, the primary or the main source of all of the reforms that was being written in the newspaper or the organ. No, so when Jose Rizal, no, started to become famous in the Philippines, because we all know that Jose Rizal is one of the greatest intellect in the Philippines, no, during that time. So they have already heard about Jose Rizal when Jose Rizal was in the Philippines, right, on that time before went to Europe or especially in Spain. No, when he decided, when Jose Rizal decided to went to Spain, there he was being accommodated of some of the members of the La Solidaridad. No, of course, other members of the La Solidaridad have already heard about Jose Rizal, of his potential of being a national leader who will fight against the Spaniard in a peaceful movement of revolution, in a revolutionary movement which is in a peaceful form. No, it is not in a radical. No. So what happened during that time? So when Jose Rizal was able to reach Spain, he was being invited to some of the meetings of the La Solidaridad movement, of the reformists, of the propagandists. And he was also being convinced to run or to be nominated as the president of the organization La Solidaridad. He was just a newbie on that part, on that time. No? So the editor in chief, no, the editor in chief. We all know that an editor in chief is the one who leads the newspaper, no, the La Solidaridad. During that time, the founder and the editor in chief of La Solidaridad is was Graciano Lopez Haina, no, Graciano Lopez Haina. So when the news reached to Graciano Lopez Haina that Jose Rizal was being convinced by some members of La Solidaridad to become their editor-in-chief or the president, no, it comes to his mind na why we need to choose Jose Rizal. Now, he was just a newbie, so nagalit siya, no? But there are a lot of members who also convince or inspire Jose Rizal to become their president. No? But actually, Jose Rizal did not accept the nomination of that offer to become the president of La Solidaridad. because on the context of the La Solidaridad, no, these people are fortunate, no, mayayaman sila. They have the chance to spend their time to study in Spain. Of course, they are part of the Ilustrados and Principalia. These people are have the ability to spend their money because mayayaman nga sila. So what does Jose Rizal don't like about La Solidaridad and its members on this organization? So he don't like about the way of living of these reformists in Spain. Naging marangya, no? It's an extravagant way of living according to some that this La Solidaridad or mga intellect people in Europe or Spain during that time, no? So they have their vices, no? Pambababae, womanizing, and other form of vices was very evident during that time in Spain by these Filipino people who fight against the Spaniards. So meaning to say it's a total opposite of the objectives of the Filipino to fight against the Spaniard when these people are also doing the things that the Spaniards are also doing. So it's a contradiction of the aims and views of the Philippine Revolution, no, to fight against the Spaniards. So Sir Rizal have also observed that kind of activities and behavior of those people in in the association La Solidaridad, especially in Spain, because Sir Rizal have spent some time in Spain. So that is why he don't like to be part and to lead that organization because he might be get insulted on that one perspective, no? So Jose Rizal decided to go home to the Philippines. Why he decided to go home to the Philippines? What was his reason? No? While he is studying in Spain, his main reason is, according to his idea, that the enemy of our country, the Philippines, is not in Spain. The enemy of our country, Philippines, is in the Philippines. No? The Spaniards are in the Philippines during that time. They have abused, they have inflicted atrocities to the Filipino people. So according to him, wala ang kalaban sa Espanya, ang kalaban ay nasa Pilipinas. So that our enemy is not in Spain. Our enemy is in the Philippines, who were the Spaniards who have abused our people. So I decided, no, according to Rizal, he decided to go home to the Philippines and to fight against the Spaniard, revolted against the Spaniard in a manner that it will not be a radical movement. It is not a bloody movement. So when he came home to the Philippines, he organized a certain organization and it's called La Liga Filipina, the League of the Philippines. So who are members of this? Of course, Jose Rizal was part of the Ilustrados o yung mga may kakayahang antas ng pamilya. Most of the members are mayayaman. So when Jose Rizal created or organized that organization, it was come into the mind and it was that idea or information reached Andres Bonifacio. So who is Andres Bonifacio during that time? He considered Jose Rizal as a national leader. He considers Jose Rizal as his idol. He had read some of the articles and write-ups of Jose Rizal. No, it is a misconception that Andres Bonifacio is amang-mang, uneducated. No, he have read most of the write-ups of Jose Rizal, and he once became part of La Liga Filipina. But his membership in the La Liga Filipina was questioned by some members of the La Liga Filipina because of his background, no? His family or he was not part of the Ilustrados or Principalia. He was a plebeian. No? We all know what's a plebeian, no? So, Andres Bonifacio got insulted on that. Although he idolized Jose Rizal, no, he decided to create a secret organization because he offered Jose Rizal a plan to revolt against the Spaniard using a bloody revolution, using their weapon, their bolos, their spears, and their revolver. But on the point of that discussion, Jose Rizal contradicts the idea of Andres Bonifacio. Because on the mind of Jose Rizal, his perspective, he wants to revolt against the Spaniards, but it is in a peaceful revolution through the write-ups, a reform, no, a novel, no. We all know the background of Jose Rizal. But Andres Bonifacio, continue, although he did not get the support of Sir Rizal in his plan to revolt against the Spaniard. According to him, it's enough. Let's fight against the Spaniard. We will fight by using our force, by weapon. No, so although Sir Rizal did not support that idea of Andres Bonifacio, no, Andres Bonifacio were able to organize. No, uh, on that point, Andres Bonifacio secretly create this organization. So that is why it is the first move towards independence. No, that was on July 7, 1892, when the Katipunan was established by Andres Bonifacio. This was a result of the failure of the reform movement in Spain. So that is why I make a backgrounder of the reform movement. These are the propagandists, the people who went to Spain to study and to fight against the Spaniards. No? So it was a failure according to Andres Bonifacio. And eventually it was a failure because we did not get our independence from that reform movement of the La Solidaridad people. No? So reform movement in Spain in which Filipinos attempted to demand reforms. So humingi sila ng reforma although we are still controlled by the Spaniards. So they have reforms presented to Spain, but they failed to convince the Spanish government. So their demand of the reforms they attempted was a failure. No? Bonifacio saw the futility. When you say futile, uselessness, no, useless. No, that according to Bonifacio, it was a useless effort of the reformists who asked and demand to the Spanish government in Spain to give us the independence. And we all know that the Spaniards really controlled us. No, there were a lot of advantages of the Spanish government when we were colonized by them. No, so Bonifacio saw the futility of the efforts of the Filipino propagandists and he organized an underground movement, a secret organization against the Spaniard, and that was the creation of the Katipunan or the KKK. So now the kataas-taasang, okay, just skip on that. Kataas-taasang kagalang-galangang katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan or KKK. We all have the background on this of the KKK or Katipunan. Every Filipino, I think we all know what is KKK. I think we have been humorously making our own acronym of the word KKK of the letters KKK. We have humorous own version of the definition or the meaning of the KKK. But it was all about the sign. This is the signal of the Philippine Revolution started in 1892. So what's a revolutionary movement? It's still a revolutionary form, but it's a radical. When we compare this one to the peaceful movement or the reformists, it is a bloody revolution. No, it was a revolutionary society that espoused independence and freedom of the Philippines through forms of arms. We have discussed already the main objectives of this movement. Their main objective was a separation of Philippines from Spain, meaning our liberty from the Spaniards. And another one, at the same time, the development of Filipinos as citizens of their own once independence was achieved. The latter, the latter was done through the written works by Bonifacio and fellow Katipunero. It doesn't mean that they are using arms, using force, a radical movement. No, it doesn't mean that they don't have also the other way around, which is the write-ups. No, they also have the Katipunan also have their own newspaper called Kalayaan. So in the reformists, they have the propagandists, they have the La Solidaridad. In the Katipunan, they have uh, uh, Kalayaan as their main organ or newspaper. They also have the Bible. Their Bible is Kartilya of Katipunan. That will be discussed in the latter part. No? So the main author, no, so the author, that is why he was called the brain of Katipunan because of his contribution, Emilio Jacinto, who wrote number of poems and essays for the society members. So it only means that there are other means of revolution, not only a radical, bloody revolution. So we all know already the recruitment process, no? followed by the Masonic initiation rites, while its structure was said to be based on results aborted reformist organization of La Liga Filipina. Because when it was not a secret organization on La Liga Filipina, because it was been identified by the Spanish government. So that is why when La Liga Filipina was being founded, was being uh, identified by the Spanish government, Jose Rizal was being exiled. No, he was being put into prison. No, he undergo kanang it's not deportation, it's an exile to Dapitan. No? The new members of the society were introduced with the Katipunan. So some of the members of the La Liga Filipina, they joined the secret organization Katipunan. No? And its teaching that emphasize the value of love of one's country. So it's a patriotic act. So the teaching of Kartilya later, or the teaching of Katipunans, no, there we can understand the love of our country, that is nationalism and patriotism, and also to our fellow Filipinos. So let's have a short background of our author. We have Emilio Jacinto was considered to be the brain of Katipunan. So about the author, for a while. So Emilio Jacinto was born on December 15, 1875 with his following parents, and that in Manila, in Tondo. So he was a native of Tondo. He finished his elementary education at a private school and secondary education at Colegio de San Juan de Litran. Now, he studied law in the university. Therefore, he was the youngest member. And he has a good background of law because he studied at University of Santo Tomas. He developed his love of reading and improved his skills in Spanish. Jacinto joined in 1894 in Katipunan at the age of 18. No, 18. Imagine he was the youngest member. His symbolic name, his pseudo name, when he joined, because it's a secret organization. When you join a secret organization, you are not bringing your original name. You should have your pseudo name, no, or alias, no, also known as Pinkian. He is the main author of Kartilya, as well as the Oath of Katipunero. So if you will become a Katipunero, you will take your oath. No, the oath was written by Jacinto. No? So he has also another pseudonym or pen name, no, in the Kalayaan as the newspaper Dimas Ilaw. He served the Katipunan in the different capacities as secretary, fiscal, editor. Later was appointed as general by by Bonifacio in 1897. So, what else? Jacinto continued to fight against the Spaniards even after the truce. Truce, when I say truce, it's agreement, no? Following Pact of Biak na Bato. So, it's Pact of Biak na Bato, or agreement of Biak na Bato, is all about the Spanish and the transition of the American colonization. Upon investigation, Jacinto was released after he managed to convince the Spanish soldiers that he was a spy in their service when he showed them a military pass issued to a man he killed several months ago. There he sent a letter to Apolinario Mabini in Malolos stating his plan to continue his law studies at newly established Literary University of the Philippines. Okay. The plan discontinued when Jacinto had to go back to Laguna to lead his fellow patriots in the war against the new enemy, the Americans. So, Emilio Jacinto was still present of another colonizer, no? Our struggles against the Americans. He established headquarters in the town of Mahayhay, Laguna, where he unfortunately contracted with malaria. So, he died due to malaria in April 6, 1899. So let's go ahead with the teaching of Katipunan, the text itself. So we have the Kartilya of the Katipunan pamphlet. It is written in Filipino, in Spanish. By this time, we are using the English language. Okay. So about the text, the entire text. So what is all about Kartilya? So by this, in the middle of our discussion, we have another two questions. This is not the question, one question again. And the second question goes like this. No? So this Kartilya served as the guide, no, of this Katipunero. So, how important is the guide in the secret organization? What do you think are the reason of Emilio Jacinto why he wrote a cartilia or teachings of Katipunan? So you write your answer on the comment section for the second question. What do you think are the reasons why Emilio Jacinto write or create these teachings of Katipunan? So, mga siya. So let's start. So Association of the Sons of the People or the KKK, if the applicant merely wishes to know the well, sensya na kay nagsigig skip. So about the text, no, Katipunan in English is association or assembly. Tipon, Katipunan meaning association. Kartilya of the Katipunan was also known as KKK. No? The term Kartilya was derived from the Spanish Kartilya, no? Which was the primary. Sorry, I'm sorry. Okay. Kartilya, which was the primary use of grade of school. So criteria are less of list of grades, no? Okay, just a few moments. Okay, so the criteria present not only the teaching of the neophyte, when you say neophyte are the new category, but also guiding principles of the society. It serves as a guide of the organization. Kartila was not just a document of Katipunan, its importance today is projected in the teachings that embody the moral and nationalistic principles of nation. So it's not only their guide, no, but it is an important teaching of nationalism and being patriotic, no, how to love our country and how to love our fellow Filipino people, no. The political goal was to completely separate Philippines from Spain. That is their main goal, no, and declare our Philippine independence. Another one, it promotes good education, good values, promotes good qualities of Filipino people. The Kartilya Katipunan is a set of principles that shows the path on how each and every one of us must live of life by living the fullest through good values. So live our life to the fullest, but it must be in accordance with the good values. With the present industrialization and globalization that we are experiencing now today, as human beings, we still should do the right thing and be responsible. Although there are some advancement of technology, our morality have already changed also. So this is a good thing that we need to discuss about its applications and lessons and learnings from the Katipunan. No? So we have the Association of the Sons of People. What happened to the presentation? I'm just so disappointed with this. I'm sorry. So, in order that all want to enter this association may have full understanding and knowledge, its guiding principles and main teaching, it is necessary to make these things know how to them so that they will not tomorrow or the next day repeat and so that they will perform their duties wholeheartedly. So this will serve as their guide before they will enter and become part of the Katipunan or Katipunero. They will be guided with the principles, the teaching, the things that they should not do. And if they have done that already, they could not repeat it again by tomorrow or the next day, no? And so that they perform all their duties as Katipunero wholeheartedly. This association pursues a most worthy and momentous object to unite the hearts and minds of all the Filipino or the Tagalogs, no? Because it started there, no? One of the most rules here in true love of native land and genuine compassion for one another. It's our love of our country. And acts of contrary to the noble and clean living are repugnant here. The life of anyone who wants to affiliate with the association will be submitted to searching of investigation. So if the applicant merely wishes to know the secret of the association or to seek personal gratification or or to know who are here in order to sell them for a handful of silver, mere only actions are demanded and state. Anybody who is not willing to act should not enter, no matter how good the speaker he might be. It is also announced that the duties to be performed by the members of association are exceedingly hard. If an applicant merely desires financial support, relief, or want to lead a life of bodily comfort and ease. Nobody is unaware of the misfortune that has threatened the Filipinos who contemplate these things that are scared. Everybody also knows that the need of money, which today is yuan, one of the main thing upon which we depend to bring sustenance to all. So all things must be thought over, and deliberated upon calmly. It cannot be accomplished who has no love for his native land. It really shows the love of our love to our country. So let's start with the teachings of the Katipunan of the Sons of People. So let's start with the different teachings. So defend the oppressed and fight the oppressor. So you have all this, no? There are 13. So the last, I will no longer discuss this one because I think it was already discussed on the discussion of the presenters during the synchronous class. So the last question before we end is you choose, no, at least two teachings of Katipunan or Kartilya, and you write that one in the comment section, and after that you give your insights of the two chosen teaching of Katipunan. So I think I am clear already. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that you have learned something from the background of the reform and the Katipunan or the Philippine Revolution. So our next session will be all about the Declaration of Philippine Independence. So for now, thank you so much. No, keep safe and God bless everyone.